the Olmec heads still look out over the jungles of Mexico. Their ancestors were seafarers and traders, Black Egyptians, Asian voyagers, who crossed oceans long before history wrote them.
Shalom, 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 family. Let me timestamp this. Today is September 1st, 2025. It's Saturday, so it's the Sabbath. Now, I'm going to break down the little clip that you just seen. The truth of the matter is that, the OLMECS are the progenitors of the Mayans, the Incas, and the Native American Red Indians. The white man, back in the day would say, hey, the earth was flat. They was too afraid to travel because they felt that they would fall off the face of the earth. When you had, navigators, black navigators that would, just roll out, take a boat, and they would go on journeys and find new lands. There's fools on here commenting, that the Egyptians are from America, and then they ran over to Egypt. That, I don't know, Dane Calloway, his ideology, I don't know what it is, but that's insane. So if that's the case, then where are all the Ethiopians? Why are there so many black people in Africa versus America? I mean, that's just, these people are delusional, okay? And some people will say, some white folks will say, oh, there's pyramids all over the place, so forget about the Gulf of Mexico with the pyramids there. Yeah, that's because the Egyptians went all over the place. It's just all type of madness people put out there. Some Israelites will say, active Israelites will say, oh, those are Israelites. No, they're not, because we didn't build. We might have been forced to build pyramids back in Egypt, but we did not build giant colossal head statues. So those are not Israelites down in the Gulf of Mexico. The OLMECS are not Israelites. And, another thing is that, they made up this cover story that, the Native Americans are, what do they call those people over there? Like Genghis Khan, they're from overseas. I just had a mind just went flat, but they walked over on the Bering Strait, and that didn't happen. They tried to make it seem like these people weren't intelligent enough to come over here by ship. So they walked over on the ice bridge, because they wanted to keep up the look that they were more intelligent, and they came over here on boats. And these Native American Red Indians were savages that couldn't navigate by boat. So they walked over on an ice bridge called the Bering Strait. That's not true. The Native American Red Indians are the only indigenous people in the Americas, along with the Mayans and the Incas. The reason why I say this, because they were made in the Americas. When you look at the Olmec statues, you see black Egyptian people. And we know the Egyptians because of the pyramids and the colossal head statues. The evidence is there, okay? And then you see people that are, undeniably Asian. So when you mix the two, you get the Mayans, the Incas, and the Red Indians, okay? If you go to the Los Angeles Museum, I forgot the name of it, you can look it up online, you'll see Asian people dressed in Egyptian garb, okay? And then when you look at these big giant head statues, you see these big thick lips, and you see African features. These people are black, undeniably. And their offsprings, people are trying to pass these people off as the original people that was here. These are the indigenous people, but they're not the original people that came here. The original people that came here are their forefathers, which are black Egyptian people with wide nose like me and thick lips like me. I'm an Israelite. Israelites and Egyptians look alike. You got these Israelites out here that have self-hate, posting up things saying the Egyptians were darker in complexion and the Israelites were lighter. Stop trying to be like the white man, okay? We didn't look different. We looked just alike. This is why Joseph was able to sit up there and his brothers couldn't tell that he was one of them. You know, he was one of the 12 Israelite brothers, and he was sitting up there in Egypt as an Egyptian governor with the Egyptian garb on. Look it up in the Bible. This is the reason why Moses lived all of his early life as an Egyptian, because they thought he was an Egyptian because Israelites and Egyptians look just alike. Okay, I would go as far as saying that, you know, Israelites have Egyptian blood in us because we were in captivity over there in Egypt for a countless amount of time. Just like a lot of us over here in America have European blood in us because we've been in America for all this time, race mixing and raping and all that sort of stuff like that. It happens, you know what I mean? Some people, you know, race mix willingly. Okay, so, you know, this is just the pros and cons of things, and this is the truth, all right? So I'm going to close this off by saying much love and respect to the converts. You know, look up Jeremiah 12, verse 16 in the Bible. This lets you know that people can convert to our ways. They can't convert to being an Israelite, but they can live by the Mosaic law, the 613 commandments in the first 5 books of the Bible, and be saved, be part of that great multitude and the great crowd at the end of the Bible and Revelation, that Revelation speaks about. And also much love and respect to the natural born Israelites, the active Israelites, not the inactive, the active. And all praise to the Most High Yah. Shalom, 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 family.